Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Advance. In the last we went through more or less the back third of the game as Sonic, and now we're playing as him in the final proper level of the game, Cosmic Angel. I love the music track here. This is easily my favorite track in the game. In fact, I would say in general, I feel the Game Boy Advance soundtrack was probably at its best when it was trying to do something relatively high energy, which I think almost every Sonic game on the system, and damn near every Mega Man game on the system, really did a good job on. With that said, you're gonna notice I probably play this level a little bit slowly at first because, well, we only have 6 Chaos Emeralds, and you can probably do the math. Final level, we got the final special spring in this act. And you're gonna need to be a bit careful when trying to get it because you need to go exclusively along the top route to find it. It's probably one of the more specific to find in that regard. And the screen crunch here isn't exactly the most helpful because they place some spikes and some enemies in really precarious locations that makes jumping past them safely a little bit of a challenge, especially right here. Worming this needle through this pin several times is threading the needle. That's the term I should say there. That what the hell did I say? It's a little bit specific to do consistently, at least. Now, that's something I should mention, though. By and large, I think Sonic Advance does a pretty good job in regards to its screen crunch issues, because the Game Boy Advance's screen had a weird aspect ratio, and some games, namely platformers, didn't do the best job in balancing out, I feel. I think Sonic Advance 2 is probably the worst out of the games when it comes to that, just because it's definitely the most speed-oriented of the three. And not even to mention, like, it's not a big issue for Sonic as well. It's, even though I love the Mega Man Zero games, on a fresh playthrough, those games can be nightmares for finding out where spikes are due to the screen ratio. Could they maybe design the stages better around the screen ratio? Maybe. But I think they did relatively fine as it is. Mind you, I'm also just excessively used to it. Trying to think, what is probably the worst platformer I played on Game Boy Advance? The Spyro games are up there that I played, the Season of Fire and Ice on there. The Lilo and Stitch one was pretty bad. I never got past level 1 in that. Either way, Special Stage 7 is without a doubt the most specific in the game when it comes to meeting the ring totals, because you need 200 by the end of it, and I'm not sure the exact number, but I think there's only like 210 to 225 in here at most, so you're not able to miss too many. And if you get hit, well, your chances just got all the more stricter. If there is a special stage you're probably going to fail in here on your first time through without it just being due to you getting used to the depth perception or all that, it is definitely this one. And again, thankfully, you don't need to get this Chaos Emerald here once you've beaten the game. So you fail it right now and you go through the rest of Cosmic Angel and you beat the final boss. You can just farm whatever you feel the easiest special spring to reach is to beat every single special stage as any character. At least on that character's campaign. I think you can only do that with the special stage springs once you've beaten that character's campaign. Either way, that's all 7 Chaos Emeralds, but we got a little bit of a thing going on in that I want to say this is the first time it's happened, outside of maybe 3D Blast, but that game worked a bit differently anyway. Supersonic isn't playable in the game normally. You only can play as him in the true ending stuff. This was something that was technically started by, well, technically Sonic Adventure, but in terms of collecting the Chaos Emeralds in special stages, Sonic Heroes, I think, was the first mainline game to do that from memory. Supersonic's not exactly a game mechanic in the series, outside of final boss privileges for a while moving forward. I think the next mainline game you get to play as him in normal stages was Sonic 4 or Sonic Colors? I forget exactly which one of the two of those it was. Outside of people ROM hacking it into various games, of course. Like, there was a ROM hack for Sonic Adventure where they reused assets found in the game where you could play as him in normal stages and all that. But it's not the biggest loss to me. I feel with this game's stage design, that speed increase would not have been very good. Also, nice little Death Egg Zone reference there. With that said, now we're on to the boss of Cosmic Angel, this weird capsule on a chain. The way this boss works is he's normally spike side up, but if you jump heavily enough on the chain when he's near you, after a brief cooldown, of course, if you just hit him, he will flip upside down and you can hit him. The more you damage him, the faster he gets. He'll eventually start zooming across to try and smack you, and he'll also fire up more and more little projectiles to try and corner you into awkward positions. It's a very simple fight, but I gotta admit, it can be a little bit tough on a fresh run. For instance, I know I saw one of my friends, Pyre Serpent, on Twitch. He was doing a little bit of a Sonic marathon at the time of recording, and he got stuck on this for a while. Either way, that boss fight can definitely be annoying, but as long as you take your time and keep your distance until you're sure you can get a good bounce on him, it's not too bad. And that's the final normal level done. It's time for us to move on to the final actual level. Welcome to the X Zone. This place is a little bit different and also a little bit nostalgic, at least it was at the time. Because that sounds familiar. Oh, it's the ball and chain boss from Sonic 1 with the Sonic 1 boss music. Although it's weird seeing the Sonic Adventure design Eggman in this. This is a nice little reference. Thankfully, it only has, like, half the health the bosses normally have in the game. Aw, man, we totally won't get used to seeing that over time, won't we? And if we progress a little bit more forward, hey, the Sonic 2 drill car and the Sonic 2 boss theme. It's actually nice to see this thing. It doesn't show up nearly as often as it probably should. This is a nice little nostalgia trip. It even has the usual little pinch move of firing its drill out. That's nice. The nostalgia trip is now over. I don't know why they threw those two boss fights in here. Again, there's some credence to what people say about this being, in some regards, the first Sonic 4. And them just throwing those in there for no reason definitely helps. With that said, now we're on to the actual main final boss, and it's this weird capsule thing. This thing's actually really annoying because you can only hit Eggman while he's attacking, and it has a couple different attacks. It has a giant laser which you can either duck under, slide under, or jump over. It can fire mines and 2 or 3 different altitudes that are very hard to tell which ones he's doing until it already is about to happen. And he just has a giant grabby hand. The grabby hand is probably the most problematic attack here, not because it's hard to dodge, although it is hard to dodge if you're trying to hit him. But in the right instance, I believe it can hit you twice or even crush you against the ground, so you want to be careful with that. This fight is kind of a difficulty spike in my eyes just because of how precise it can be to hit him without getting hit. But if you can get yourself trapped behind Eggman and the edge of the screen, you can at least get yourself into a very comfortable position from there. And that's game, sort of. We do have all 7 Chaos Emeralds, so we still have to see the true ending, but let's take a look at the normal endings first. And from there, the game plays the normal credits that we're going to see at the end of the game anyway, so I'm going to save them until then. With that said, before we now head on to the true ending, let's take a look at the equivalent normal endings for the other 3 characters. This is notably the only endings they can get. Well, aren't those adorable? With that said, now I have technically beaten the game with all 4 characters, as well as collected all 7 Chaos Emeralds. Let's take a look at something really quick. If we look in Amy's campaign, every level cleared, Zone 1, Act 1 through Final Zone. Knuckles, Zone 1, Act 1 cleared through Final Zone. Over to Tails. Zone 1, Act 1 cleared all the way through to Final Zone. But after all that, if you take a look in Sonic's one, now notice Zone 1, Act 1 all the way through to Final Zone and Extra Zone. Now we just have to beat X Zone again to access the true final boss. Thankfully, it's still the exact same fight, so if you did it once and you've done it with all 4 characters, you can probably do it again. Welcome to the Moon Zone, the final boss of the game. As Super Sonic, you have an extra move. You can press the A and B buttons to dash around slightly, and you want to hit Eggman's robot right on the head. It has arms that'll swing up and down to try and bonk you. It'll fire some missiles out. You do have a usual time limit, but you can break some of the rocks that he brings up into the air to get extra wings if you need to. With that said, as long as you just spam fire the button, this boss fight dies very quickly. I'd argue this is potentially one of the easiest Supersonic styled final bosses in the franchise, if not the, probably like top 3 because it's already dead. Again, this fight's easy. And that's Sonic Advanced. Advanced, rather. I don't know why. I always, throughout my life, always said Sonic Advanced and Game Boy Advance when it's just Advance. Also, one thing I should note very probably before I start going in on my opinion, this is not the aspect ratio these credits actually show in the game at. You may have noticed in that little cutscene there, like Supersonic's face was very tiny. The credits display at the exact same ratio in game. I'm just zooming it in so it feels better in a way. Sonic Advance, despite being the only one of the trilogy I didn't play growing up, I think it's probably the easiest to pick up and play of the series because in terms of getting the Chaos Emeralds, in terms of mechanics, it's definitely the most straightforward evolution of the Genesis games. I just feel its stages at times can be a little bit too close to Sonic the Hedgehog 1 in terms of how it actually designs its levels around speed versus platforming. But that said, it's definitely still a fine game, and I would recommend it. If you want to play it, it's on Game Boy Advance, and I think it was on the Wii U and 3DS Virtual Consoles. Don't quote me on the latter of those two. I think it was on Wii U at least. I honestly don't recall. It's definitely worth a shot. The soundtrack alone is definitely worth a look up. It's fantastic stuff. I'll get to the later advanced games at some point. The biggest thing is, while I can probably play through Advance 2's levels at the moment relatively confidently, getting those special stages requires such a specific route through each stage that I need to memorize that. I don't feel like doing that right now. As for what's up next, where is my LP list, actually? There it is. What did I record after this? Well, let's let's just say a certain season 4 of a show got uploaded to Netflix today on the 13th, and 13th of May, I should probably specify, and yeah, we're going back to that series for a game or two real quick, because it's been a while. Also, this credits theme is fantastic. A little bit short and repetitive, but it's good stuff. But with that, I'm going to need to end this LP off here. Thank you guys for watching, have a great night, take care, and I'll see you guys next Let's Play, and I've already foreshadowed exactly what that is. See you guys then.